If you find you trade better right after a loss, this video is for you. We've all been there. You close a trade, and the red on the screen confirms it. You lost. The frustration, the self-doubt, maybe even a little anger, it all bubbles up. In that moment, something inside you just gives up. Not on trading, but on the desperate need for this one trade to be the one. You take a deep breath, slower this time. The weight on your shoulders feels a little lighter. This is the story of a trader named Ben. For a long time, Ben was trapped in a cycle. He'd start his day full of hope, visualizing huge wins. He'd see a setup, his heart would start pounding, and he'd jump in, convinced this was his ticket. But hope is a heavy burden. It creates pressure, an expectation that this trade must work out. When it didn't, the crash was brutal. Yet, paradoxically, the trade he'd take right after that crushing loss was often clean, precise, and perfectly executed. Why? The moment Ben closed that losing position, something fundamental shifted. The pressure to be right, the dream of a quick, massive gain, it all vanished with the loss. The hope that had been clouding his judgment was gone. He was left with nothing but the market and his strategy. The loss had, in a strange way, freed him. It forced him into a state of acceptance. The worst he was afraid of had just happened, and he was still there. The world didn't end. This release of pressure is a powerful psychological phenomenon. When we're trading with high hopes, we're not really trading the market. We're trading our expectations. We see what we want to see. We might ignore a clear signal that contradicts our bias because we're so attached to the outcome we've imagined. A loss shatters that attachment. It's a hard reset. Suddenly, with nothing left to lose on that specific idea, your mind becomes clearer. After one particularly painful loss, Ben didn't immediately jump back in. He just sat there. He watched his own breathing, feeling the air fill his lungs and then slowly release. He wasn't trying to force calmness. He was just observing. Then, he opened his notebook. Not to find a new trade, but to read his rules. The simple, objective rules he had written for himself in a moment of clarity. Rule 1. Wait for the setup to complete. Rule 2. Define risk before entry. Rule 3. Honor the stop loss. Reading them without the pressure of a potential win felt different. The rules weren't a restriction anymore. They were a guide, a map in a chaotic landscape. His mind was no longer racing ahead to the potential profit. It was grounded in the present moment. In the process, he saw a new setup forming. This time, there was no heart-pounding excitement. There was just quiet observation. He checked it against his rules. It was a valid setup. He calculated his position size, placed his entry in his stop-loss, and executed the trade. There was no hope, no fear. There was only execution. This is the state that professional traders work relentlessly to cultivate. Not a state of numb indifference, but a state of neutral focus. They understand that hope is a liability. Discipline thrives, not when we are full of hope, but when we are detached from the outcome. The less you hope for a specific result on any single trade, the more likely you are to follow your plan. Following your plan is what leads to consistency, and consistency is what leads to long-term profitability. So, how do we get to this state without having to suffer a loss first? The answer is training. It's a conscious practice. Ben started to simulate that post-loss mindset before his first trade of the day. He began his routine not with profit targets, but with a simple breathing exercise. He would close his eyes and imagine the worst-case scenario, taking a full, planned loss. He'd accept it in his mind before he even placed a trade. He visualized himself following his rules perfectly, regardless of the outcome. He also made his trading journal his most important tool. After every trade, win or lose, he wouldn't just write down the numbers. He'd write down his emotional state. Before entry, was I anxious? Hopeful.com. After exit, was I relieved? Angry? Neutral? This practice of self-awareness built a bridge between his emotional self and his rational, trading self. He started to recognize the feeling of high-pressure hope as a red flag, a signal to pause and reset. The goal isn't to become a robot, it's to become a professional who manages their internal state as carefully as they manage their risk. The calm, clear-headed execution you experience after a loss is not an accident. It is your true potential as a trader, unburdened by the weight of expectation. The key takeaway is this: calm execution must be trained before the results can follow. Don't wait for a loss to force you into clarity. Build the habits that create that clarity from the very start. Start with your breath. Review your rules as a guide, not a burden. Journal your emotions to build. Practice accepting the risk before you ever click the button. Your best trading self isn't the one filled with hope for a lottery ticket win. It's the one who shows up, does the work, follows the process, and accepts that the market will do what it will do. That is the path to consistency. That is the path to lasting success. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more insights into the psychology of trading.